What happens when a woman known for silence, control, and restraint is pushed, slowly, deliberately, by someone who mistakes volume for power? This is not a shouting match. This is not a meltdown. This is the story of how Angelina Jolie, sitting calmly under studio lights, was forced to decide whether dignity means staying, or knowing exactly when to leave. What unfolded on The View would leave the room frozen, the audience divided, and one host suddenly unsure who had lost control. The studio looked peaceful. Warm, golden lighting reflected off polished surfaces. Holiday decorations framed the background, garlands, soft reds and greens, a postcard version of calm. The Hot Topics desk sat perfectly centered, mugs aligned, papers stacked with deliberate precision. It was the kind of set designed to reassure viewers that everything here was civil, safe, controlled. Angelina Jolie noticed that immediately. She walked onto the stage without ceremony, dressed in dark, understated tones. No sparkle, no performance, just presence. Her posture was relaxed, her expression neutral, not cold, not warm, observant. The applause came anyway, long, respectful. Joy Behar watched her approach with a tight smile that didn't quite mask anticipation. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed her first, voice smooth and practiced. "Please welcome Angelina Jolie." Angelina nodded to the audience, sat, crossed her legs slowly, and folded her hands in her lap. She looked exactly like someone who didn't need to fill silence. "Thank you for having me," she said. Her voice was calm, even, controlled. For the first few minutes, the conversation stayed where it was supposed to. A co-host asked about her latest film. Another mentioned her humanitarian work. Angelina answered carefully. Never long-winded, never evasive. She spoke about storytelling, about responsibility, about choosing projects that mattered to her. She didn't smile much. She didn't need to. Then Joy leaned forward, not abruptly, not aggressively, just enough to signal a shift. "So, Angelina," Joy said, her tone light but sharpened at the edges. "You've worn a lot of hats over the years. Actress, director, activist, mother, ambassador." Angelina nodded once. "Yes." Joy tilted her head. "Do you ever feel like that overwhelms people? I mean, it's a lot." Angelina met her eyes calmly. "Life is a lot." A few quiet laughs from the audience. Joy smiled back, but it was thin. "I just wonder," she continued, "whether all that seriousness leaves room for honesty. You've built a reputation as someone who's above Hollywood, above the mess." Angelina didn't react. "I don't think I'm above anything," she replied. "I'm just selective." Joy tapped her pen lightly against her card. Selective is one word for it. The air shifted, not sharply but noticeably, like a pressure change before a storm. Whoopi glanced sideways, then forward again. Angelina remained still. "So, let's talk about that," Joy said. "Your activism, your humanitarian work. It's admirable, obviously, but some critics say it borders on performative." Angelina blinked once, slowly. "Critics are free to say what they like," she answered. "So am I." Joy chuckled. "Sure, but when you fly into conflict zones with cameras following, when every visit turns into headlines, it's fair to ask whether it's about impact or image." There it was, the first clean cut. Angelina didn't raise her eyebrows, didn't shift in her chair. She simply asked, "Is that a question or a conclusion?" A ripple went through the audience. Joy laughed lightly, waving a hand. "I'm just asking what everyone's thinking." Angelina tilted her head slightly. "That's usually what people say when they want to speak for others." Joy's smile tightened. "Well, then answer it," she said. "Is it about helping or being seen helping?" Angelina paused, not because she didn't know what to say, but because she chose when to say it. "When people are suffering," Angelina replied calmly, "they don't ask whether the help is photogenic." The applause came faster this time. Joy leaned back, crossed her arms. "That's a convenient answer," she said. "But you must admit, you've cultivated a certain image, the moral voice of Hollywood, the conscience." Angelina looked at her steadily. "I didn't assign myself that role." Joy shrugged. "Someone did." Angelina nodded. Then they misunderstood. That answer landed heavier than it sounded. Joy leaned in again, sensing resistance, and enjoying it. You speak often about responsibility, Joy said, about ethics, about global injustice, but you're still part of an industry built on excess, private jets, wealth, influence. Angelina's lips pressed together briefly, not in anger, but consideration. Yes, she said, and that contradiction isn't lost on me. Joy raised an eyebrow. Isn't it? Angelina met her gaze. I live with it. I don't deny it. The room went quiet. That wasn't the deflection Joy expected. So then, Joy continued undeterred, how do you justify it? The privilege, the distance between the world you speak about and the one you live in. Angelina folded her hands more tightly. I don't justify it, she said. I acknowledge it and try to use it responsibly. Joy scoffed softly. That sounds rehearsed. Angelina's eyes sharpened, but her voice didn't. No, she replied. It sounds practiced. There's a difference. Joy smiled again, but now it was openly challenging. You're very composed, she said, almost untouchable. Angelina tilted her head. I've learned when silence is more effective than performance. Joy laughed. Well, this is television. Silence doesn't always play well. Angelina looked at her, unblinking. It plays fine, she said. When people are listening, that line hit. The co-hosts shifted. One glanced toward the cameras. Another took a breath like she wanted to jump in, and didn't. Joy's pen stopped tapping. You know, Joy said slowly, some people think you hide behind seriousness, that you avoid criticism by staying unreachable. Angelina didn't look away. I'm right here, Joy smiled. For now. Angelina leaned back slightly, calm as ever. And for the first time since the interview began, Joy Behar realized something unsettling. She wasn't rattling Angelina Jolie. She was only revealing how badly she wanted to. The show tried to pretend it was still an interview. A co-host smiled too brightly and attempted to soften the tension. Angelina, your work has inspired so many people. Can you tell us what keeps you grounded? Angelina turned to her, grateful but not performative. My children, she said simply. And the people I've met who live through things most of us can't imagine. The audience nodded. It was the kind of answer that made sense. Real, human, hard to twist. Joy Behar, however, didn't even wait for the applause to fade. Ah, Joy said, your children. Angelina's eyes flicked toward Joy for a brief second, then settled again, calm, attentive, prepared. Joy smiled as if she'd found a door. You've been very public about motherhood, she continued, voice syrupy, and you've been praised for it, a lot. But I'm curious, do you ever worry that your parenting has also become part of the image, the Saint Mother narrative? The studio's warmth dropped again. Whoopi's posture tightened. One co-host stared at her notes like they might catch fire. Angelina didn't move. She didn't blink faster, didn't frown. She simply asked, is there a version of my life you wouldn't label a narrative? Joy's smile paused mid-curve. I'm asking whether you think you've weaponized sympathy, Joy pressed. The world sees you as this suffering, noble figure, humanitarian, single mom, survivor. It's powerful. Angelina's voice stayed even. Sympathy doesn't build schools, she said. Work does. Joy leaned forward. But your work is always attached to your face, your name, your brand. Angelina's gaze sharpened, quietly. My name gets people in rooms they'd otherwise lock, she replied. If that makes you uncomfortable, I can't help you. A low murmur moved through the audience. Joy's eyes narrowed. So you admit its influence? Angelina nodded once. I've never denied that. Joy sat back, pretending to be impressed. Interesting, because some people think you're less an activist and more a global celebrity tourist. A gasp, immediate, audible. Even by daytime standards, it was crude. Angelina didn't flinch. She tilted her head slightly. Some people also think storms are polite. They're wrong. Joy blinked, thrown for a split second by the calm bite of that metaphor, but she recovered quickly. She always did. Okay, Joy said, lifting her hands. Let's talk about your public persona then. You speak about trauma, about surviving, about protecting your family. Yet you've also made very public choices in your personal life. Angelina's expression didn't change, but the air around her did, like a door softly locking. Joy continued anyway. Relationships, divorce, headlines, the drama. Do Do you ever wonder if you contribute to the circus you claim to dislike? The co-hosts shifted like they wanted to disappear. Angelina's voice remained low. I don't contribute to it, she said. I endure it. Joy chuckled. But you're still in it. Angelina stared at her steadily. And you're still feeding it. The audience reacted. Sharp applause, fast, like a match striking. Joy's face tightened. I'm not feeding anything, Joy snapped. I'm asking what viewers want to know. Angelina's eyes didn't leave her. No, she said softly. You're asking what makes you feel powerful. That line didn't explode. It sliced. Joy's lips parted. She laughed again, but this time it sounded forced, like laughter used as armor. You're very comfortable judging me, Joy said. Is that part of the moral voice package? Angelina leaned back, still calm. I'm not judging you, she replied. I'm describing what's happening. Joy shook her head. No, you're deflecting because you don't want to answer uncomfortable truths. Angelina didn't rush. I've answered every question, she said. You just don't like the answers because they don't give you the reaction you came for. The studio went still. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate, lingering on Joy's face a fraction longer than usual. Joy leaned in again, sharper, faster, trying a new angle. Let's talk about money, she said. You speak about poverty and suffering, but you're wealthy beyond imagination. Mansions, security teams, private travel. How do you reconcile that? Angelina nodded slowly. By not pretending it doesn't exist. Joy scoffed. That's it? Angelina's voice cooled. No, she said. By funding what governments won't, by showing up where others won't, by putting resources into places that don't have lobbyists. Joy's mouth curled. And you think that makes you a hero? Angelina's eyes sharpened, still quiet, still controlled. I don't think about myself that much, she replied. But you clearly do. The audience reacted with a stunned laugh, then applause. Joy's face reddened. She shifted in her chair like she'd been physically pushed. Excuse me? Joy barked. Angelina stayed composed. You keep steering everything back to you, your opinion, your approval, your standards. Joy's voice rose. This is my job. Angelina's gaze didn't flicker. Then do it, she said. Interview me. Don't prosecute me. The word prosecute landed like a gavel. Whoopi finally tried to step in, voice firm. All right, let's... Joy cut her off. No, because she's acting like I'm attacking her when I'm just asking questions. Angelina turned slightly toward Whoopi, respectful, then back to Joy. You're not just asking, Angelina said quietly. You're stacking. Joy frowned. Stacking? Angelina nodded. You start with a premise. Then you build questions like bricks around it until the guest can't breathe. That isn't curiosity. That's construction. The room went silent. Joy stared as if she'd been called out for a trick she believed was invisible. Angelina continued, voice calm but sharper now, like the edge had fully surfaced. And the reason you're frustrated, Angelina said, is because I'm not panicking inside the box you're building. Joy's jaw clenched. Oh, you're so composed, Joy sneered. So above it all. It must be nice. Angelina didn't smile. It's not nice, she said. It's necessary. Joy leaned back as if resetting. Then she smiled again, thin and bright. All right, Joy said. Let's go somewhere even more honest. Angelina's eyes narrowed slightly. She could feel it. A new trap. Joy's tone turned almost playful. Do you think, she asked, that you hide behind causes because you don't want people to look too closely at you? The audience held its breath. The co-hosts froze. Angelina stayed still. Then she spoke, quietly, cleanly. I think you hide behind questions because you don't want people to look too closely at you. A beat of silence. Then the audience erupted. Joy's face flushed hot. Her hands tightened around her card. That's when everyone could feel it, something changing. Joy wasn't controlling the room anymore. She was losing it. And she was about to do what she always did when she lost control. Push harder. Joy felt it slipping. The room wasn't leaning toward her anymore. It was watching her, so she did what she always did when the balance shifted. She went lower. Well, Joy said with a tight smile, tapping her card against the desk. Since we're talking about honesty, let's talk about control. Angelina's eyes lifted slightly, not surprised, prepared. You present yourself as calm, thoughtful, above the noise, Joy continued. But people who work with you, directors, crew, even family, have described you as difficult, cold, controlling. A ripple moved through the audience. Not applause, not gasps, just discomfort. Angelina didn't interrupt. Joy took that silence as permission. You manage your image very carefully, Joy pressed. The quiet stare, the pauses, the restraint. It's powerful, but it's also intimidating. Do you ever wonder if that's just another performance? Angelina folded her hands loosely on the table. No, she said, because performances require an audience willing to believe. Joy laughed sharply. And you don't think the world believes you? Angelina met her gaze fully now. I think the world sees what it wants, she replied. You, however, are trying to force what you want them to see. Joy leaned forward, voice sharpening. Or maybe I'm trying to show that you're not as untouchable as you think. The word untouchable hung there, ugly, deliberate. Angelina's jaw tightened just a fraction. I've never claimed to be untouchable, she said. Only that I won't be careless with my words. Joy smirked. That must be convenient when you're raising children in the spotlight. The studio stiffened. Angelina's posture changed, barely, but noticeably, like steel settling into place. What exactly are you implying? She asked. Joy tilted her head, faux curious. I'm asking whether growing up around trauma, cameras, and constant relocation is really as noble as you present it. Or if it's selfish. A sharp intake of breath rippled through the audience. Whoopi shifted hard in her seat. Joy! But Joy waved her off. I'm just asking. Kids don't get a choice, do they? Angelina didn't speak immediately. When she did, her voice was still calm, but something fundamental had cooled. My children are not props, she said, and they are not topics for speculation. Joy shrugged. You made them public figures the moment you stepped onto red carpets with them. Angelina's eyes darkened. No, she said quietly. The media did, and people like you keep them there. Joy scoffed. Oh, please, you benefit from it. That was it. Not an explosion, not a shout, just a shift. Angelina leaned forward slightly, measured, deliberate. You want to talk about benefit? She asked. Let's talk about yours. Joy blinked. Excuse me? You ask questions designed to provoke, Angelina continued. You poke at pain you don't carry. You press on families you don't protect. And you call it accountability. Joy bristled. That's my job. Angelina shook her head once. No, that's your habit. The audience reacted. Soft applause, quickly hushed. Joy's voice rose. You don't get to define my job. Angelina's reply was immediate. I'm not, she said. Your behavior is. Joy leaned back, lips tight. So now I'm the villain. Angelina looked at her steadily. You chose the role. A stunned silence followed. Joy's smile vanished. You think you're better than me? Angelina's answer was razor clean. No, she said. I think I'm more careful. Joy laughed bitterly. Careful? That's rich coming from someone whose life has been a headline for decades. Angelina didn't flinch. Headlines don't scare me, she said, but careless power does. Joy slammed her card down. You're dodging again. Angelina's voice hardened, not louder, but firmer. I've answered everything you've asked, she said. You just keep moving the goalpost because you want a crack, a tear, a moment, Joy snapped back. Maybe because you're not being real. That word, real, did something. Angelina inhaled slowly. This is real, she said. This restraint, this patience, this refusal to turn my life, or my children, into spectacle for your satisfaction. Joy's face flushed. You don't get to lecture me? Angelina straightened in her chair. I do, she said, when you cross a line. Joy stood up halfway, then sat again, voice sharp and brittle. What line? This is television. Angelina looked around the set, the mugs, the lights, the festive backdrop that suddenly felt obscene. This, she said softly, is exactly the problem.